Hello, my friends. Today I am back to recap the latest episode of RuPaul's Drag Race Season 17 RDR Live. The Queens walk back into the workroom after Joella's elimination. Sam Starr mentions what I said last week, that she thought Corey would be delivering in the comedy more than she has been. To be honest, I didn't think she delivered that in this week either, but I'll get to that. Crystal does not seem too happy that Anya won over her, but Anya says in confessionals it's not about having the best drag, it's about being the full package. And she's right, because Anya has charisma in spades. The judges are really responding to her. So it's a new week in the workroom, and Arietti is in her villain era with her cute devil horns. Jules wants to know who the piggy of the week will be. A piggy is someone who is eating the competition. At that moment, Rue enters the workroom and announces that RDR Live is back. Lydia, in particular, is nervous about this challenge, and the edit was there. Hormona is excited to redeem herself after her comedy talent show performance, and the edit was there. I really have to get merch that says the edit was there. The queens need to assign the roles themselves. Anya takes the role of host, which nobody else wants because they remember how Mirage did in last season. Crystal and Lana both want the role of Brooke, but Crystal backs down when she is told that the role of Brooke is very similar to who she already is in drag. Sam Starr says, and I quote, that Brooke is a very basic role and it would be good for Lana. That's a read, honey. Hormona and Lydia both want the part of Gert, but Hormona backs down pretty quickly. So as the groups work together, things are wild. Susie keeps shooting down Lexi's ideas. Hormona is flipping Lydia off. Arietti is making some crazy ass noises, and Sam is committed to her lesbian voice. So it's time for RDR Live, and I'm going to give you guys an unpopular opinion. In the Neanderthal scene, Arietti actually really impressed me, and I'll tell you why. Last week, her critiques were that she was outshined by Jules. So in this performance, she was really committed to not being outshined by anybody. And yes, she may have been doing the most, but I see that as commendable because she's really trying to learn from the critiques of last week. I did not agree with her bottom placement, but I'll get to that later. Anya was the absolute perfect host. I felt so comfortable and safe watching her. She was just a natural. In the beaver segment, when Jules revealed an actual beaver, I was hoping they would show the golden beaver from Canada's Drag Race. That would have been a gag. In my opinion, though, Hormona was the best out of the three. I love when she said, "Ruth, you whore." We then get a performance from Rue to "The Devil Made Me Do It." In the Queen's News Network, I have to admit the jokes were a bit cringy and corny. The standout was Susie Toot playing Rue's former babysitter, Rhonda. Rhonda claims that all of Rue's Rueisms came from her, and she wants money for it. She was such a natural in this skit, it was the perfect role for Susie to play. In the Golden Girls segment, Lydia proves that she doesn't know a goddamn thing about the Golden Girls. It was a bit stale, and it made me wish that we could have seen Hormona in this role because she would have killed it. Acacia does a really good job in her Blanche-esque role. But to be fair, she says that she watches the Golden Girls daily, and it really matches her aesthetic. The Golden Girls is one of my favorite shows. As the queens get ready, Susie says that she doesn't think the Neanderthal group should be as confident as they are. Lexi says she has established the Kumbaya group, which refers to queens that can't take a joke. These are the girls that get easily offended and struggle to banter. The girls that Lexi identifies as being part of this group are Acacia, Hormona, and Susie. T. We get more information regarding Lexi's personal life and her day job. As I said last week, Lexi is being pushed by production, meaning that production wants us to know who Lexi is and fall in love with her. This is why I believe she will make the finale and maybe even win. So on the main stage this evening, we have RuPaul looking very colourful, we have Michelle Visage, we have the hilarious Ross Matthews, and the extra special guest judge of the week, Paul W. Downs, who also played Dr. Johnson in the skit. Category is Tickled Pink. Love pink. And I gave my top 2 to Arietti. My god, this queen has some of the best looks I've ever seen. That pink wig, that silhouette, I am gagged. So it's time for the judges' critiques, and I'm glad that they did this individually and not in teams. First up, we have Anya Nerve. She is praised for being an exceptional host, but this look was not my favorite. I do agree with Michelle that she could have used some hair. Arietti is in the bottom for doing the most. Why did the judges hate Arietti? I would have put Corey King in the bottom over Arietti. In fact, if you watched Untucked, Arietti actually says to Corey King, "I did better than you in the challenge." And Corey says, "Yeah, I agree." I feel like production always wants to break one contestant each season, and they're trying to break Arietti. Last season, it was Q. The season before that was Lucy LaDuca. Anyway, Hormona is in the top for doing such a great job in her skit. I agree, she was fantastic and she always looks very good. Sam is red for her flat lesbian voice. The judges would have preferred her natural southern voice, which I think would have made more sense in this skit. I don't know why she tried something different, but I guess she wanted to challenge herself and she learned from it. Susie is commended for her fashionable clown look and her makeup, and of course they pan to Arietti in that moment looking pressed. Susie did a great job this week. She is a theatre kid and it shows. Poor Lydia is in the bottom, dressed as a glamorous ding-dong. They did not like her wooden performance as Gert. I do want to add that it's a shame that Lana's sort of being erased from this competition. She's been safe pretty much every week. She did well this week, and I thought she would be a heavy hitter given the preseason reception of her. She was certainly not happy in Untucked, and I understand. She's trying really hard, but unfortunately she's fading into the background. Back on the main stage, Susie Toot gets her second win of the season, and I agree. I also would have been happy if Hormona won. I wouldn't have given it to Anya this week, just because I didn't love her runway. Sam is saved from the bottom too, so it's up to Lydia and Arietti to lip sync it out. They perform to Boogie Wonderland by Earth, Wind and Fire. Lydia, oh my god, who knew that tiny little white baby had it in her? She gave it everything she had. Lydia is told to Shantae, and Arietti has one last chance to save herself with the badonkadunk tank. She pulls number one and Michelle falls to the depths. I have to say, I kind of saw this coming, and I'll tell you why. I did not get a notification for what you're packing during the day, and to me that's a spoiler in itself, because if I don't get a watch your packer notification, that means nobody went home. I really need to turn them off because they kind of spoil the season for me. I am so glad that Arietti didn't go home, and I guess that's the end of the badonkadunk tank. Was it rigged all along? Well, I stand by the fact that those levers weren't really connected to anything, but as Hormona pulled 7 and Arietti pulled 1, it does seem like that's the way they wanted it to go. It might not have been as rigged as I proclaimed it to be in episode 1, and I'm happy to eat my words. We have to remember that this badonkadunk tank is sponsored by Las Vegas, and Rue does say after Arietti is saved to bet on 17 in Las Vegas. So obviously 17, season 17. Maybe it wasn't so rigged after all. But I guess we'll never know because we don't know what would have happened if Lucky pulled a 1 or if Joella pulled a 1. Next week is the Sea Sickening Ball with Law Roach as a guest judge. In my Redoing Global All-Stars series, I actually put Law Roach as a guest judge for a pageant ball. So this is very vindicating for me. Go watch that series if you haven't already. Also, who else is thrilled that Arietti was saved in time for the ball? Show of hands. Guys, let me know what you thought of this week's episode. Give me all the tea.